Today is July 2nd. But this date isn't just a flip of the page on your calendar. Today, the fundamental rules of the game have changed. Not the game out there, the one with headlines and deadlines and noise. The game inside you. Most people are scanning the horizon, waiting for a colossal wave, a crack in the sky, some undeniable, external proof. But the proof you're looking for doesn't roar, it doesn't even whisper. It's a change in the silence itself, a signal that only a finely tuned instrument can pick up, and that instrument is you. On July 2nd, the energetic field we all swim in was recalibrated. You might have felt it, not as a dramatic event, but as a low-grade hum of anxiety you can't place. A sudden moment of piercing mental clarity in the middle of chaos, or a profound sense of stillness that felt almost alien. This isn't your mind playing tricks. This is not a fluke. The cosmos and your consciousness are not separate things. They are a single interconnected system. And today, that system received a mandatory update. For those who are paying attention, July 2nd feels different. You can't put it into a neat sentence, but your bones feel it. Your intuition feels it. Your spirit recognizes it. It's not excitement, it's not dread. It's a deep, sober knowing, a quiet notification that has appeared on the screen of your soul. Now, let me tell you the truth. The sign has already been given, but the majority will overlook it because we're conditioned to search for it on the world stage. But the Great Awakening, the so-called rapture, isn't a spectacle. It is the precise moment you become fully accountable for your own energy. The moment you are exposed not to a higher power, but to yourself. The moment you grasp that the clock is ticking, not on the world, but on your opportunity to wake up within it. You've been offered a gateway, a rare chance to step into a new level of awareness. July 2nd isn't a spectacle. It doesn't fight for the spotlight, but it is intensely powerful. It is exacting. If you manage to be still today, even for a few minutes, you likely sensed it, a tiny glitch in your matrix of habit, a brief honest space between your thoughts. This is the energy shift, and it is more than enough to pivot the entire trajectory of your life. But the world will not pause for your awakening. Your obligations, your distractions, your ingrained emotional responses, they will continue to pull at you like gravity. Yet today, July 2nd, a quiet invitation stands. It is subtle, gentle, but firm. You can continue to ignore it, or you can halt just for a moment and ask yourself a truly honest question. What am I actually doing with my life force? With my focus? With this precious energy? We always wait for the right time to begin our inner work. But this shift didn't wait for you. It's already here. The only question is, are you here with it, or are you lost in the static of everything else? These shifts in consciousness don't ask for permission. They aren't swayed by our opinions. They operate on a deeper physics, on invisible laws. And one of those laws is that no state is permanent. This moment, this clarity, this alignment, it too will pass. And if you don't use it today, you will miss the current. So what is the work? It's simple. Drop your anchor. Observe your breath. Witness your mind. Take off the mask you wear for the world. Sit in stillness, not for an eternity. Start with one true moment. Because a single moment of raw honesty with yourself carries more transformative power than a lifetime of performance. The energy of July 2nd acts like a truth serum. It separates the real from the artificial. You've likely seen the evidence already. People around you are either more centered or more scattered. Some are grounded and calm, others are spiraling. Some feel a deep peace, others are shattering. This is the sign. It doesn't arrive with a trumpet blast. It simply reveals the truth of where everyone stands, including you. It shows you who you have become and what you must still face. Don't wait for another date on the calendar. Don't look for another guide. The lesson is happening right now, in the laboratory of your own experience. If you missed it this morning, there is still a sliver of time, but not much. The gateway isn't wide open, it's a narrow passage. You must choose to walk through it consciously. Today, you don't have to solve your entire life. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need to become aware. Aware of the air entering your lungs, aware of the choices you're making, aware of the real direction your life is headed. This awareness is the seed of all genuine change. The energy of July 2nd is not here to frighten you. It is here to sober you up, to bring you back to what is essential. And what is essential is not what you know, what you own, or what you can prove. What is essential is your capacity to stay anchored in the storm, to remain steady when the ground beneath you is shaking, to hold your center when your mind is a hurricane of thoughts. This isn't poetry. This is a practical skill. This is survival. And today, July 2nd, is your training ground. If you listen carefully, your inner guidance is already speaking. If you sit in silence, your breath will lead you back to the present moment. If you become truly aware, this energetic shift will elevate you to a deeper way of being. But if you keep rushing, keep avoiding, keep ignoring, then the sign will have come and gone and you won't realize what you've lost until much, much later. By then, the opportunity will be a memory. So stop. Right now, just stop. Because today is July 2nd, and something is different. Something is calling, not from the outside, but from the very core of your being. Will you answer it? Today is July 2nd, and while the world churns on, a more profound event is unfolding, not in the heavens but right here, within you. People talk about a great rapture, as if it's a cosmic evacuation, a spectacular event where people vanish from the earth. The real rapture isn't about disappearing, it's about seeing. It's the moment when everything that is false within you begins to dissolve. It's the moment you see yourself with total clarity, no filters, no stories, no lies. On July 2nd, this is the true sign something in you is being laid bare. And for those who are truly watching, it is impossible to unsee. The rapture is not an external show, it is an internal exposure. It is a brilliant light being shown on the corners of your psyche you have expertly avoided. It doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to show you what you've built your life upon. This is deeply uncomfortable because most have constructed their identities on shifting sands, on masks, titles, possessions, accomplishments, or other people. But today, July 2nd, none of that is solid enough to hide the truth. The energy is too sharp, too precise. It is a scalpel cutting through illusion. It removes what is inauthentic. If you aren't prepared, it will feel like your world is collapsing. But in truth, only what was false is collapsing, for July 2nd is not about chaos in the world, it is about confrontation with the self. When your inner walls crumble, you finally see the true architecture of your own consciousness. You recognize your conditioned patterns, the way you use anger as a shield, control as a comfort, or distraction as an escape. You begin to hear your authentic voice, not the one conditioned by society, but the one that was always there, humming beneath the noise. This is the rapture, it is exposure with no exit. Many are still waiting for the grand cinematic event, lights in the sky, a booming voice from the heavens, a supernatural intervention. But the ones who know the real drama is internal. The real event is found in silence, because when the external noise finally dies down and you are left utterly alone with your own mind, your own truth, your own awareness, that is when the real shift happens. Today, July 2nd, you are being asked to stop running, to stop performing, to stop hiding. Everything you believe you are is being put to the test, not by some external judge, but by your own awakened consciousness. The rapture isn't a verdict, it's an invitation to remember who you truly were before the world sold you a story of who you should be. But here is the difficulty. Most will refuse this invitation because the mask is comfortable, the performance is familiar, but comfort is not truth, and the truth is rarely comfortable. On July 2nd, comfort is being dialed down, and in its place, clarity is being dialed up. A raw, undeniable clarity, the kind of clarity that forces stillness, the kind that compels deep reflection, the kind that makes pretending impossible. So ask yourself, right now, who am I when the audience is gone? Who am I when the labels are stripped away? Who am I beneath the pride, the fear, the carefully crafted stories? The answer to that question is the rapture. The answer is the revelation. That is the gift of this day, not destruction but revelation, and that is infinitely more powerful. You may be noticing specific things today: heightened sensitivity, waves of emotion rising for no reason, forgotten memories surfacing, sudden epiphanies. This isn't chaos. This is exposure. This is your inner system recalibrating to the higher frequency of July 2nd. You are being brought into alignment with your truth, and the parts of you that are out of tune with that truth will start to vibrate uncomfortably. Don't fight them. Witness them. Let them rise. Let them be seen. And when they do, breathe, because your breath is the anchor that keeps you in your body while your mind sheds its skins. If you run from this moment, it will simply find you again, but with greater intensity. But if you sit with it today, if you stay still and allow yourself to feel it all, then the transformation can begin. You don't need a temple. You don't need a guru. All you need is radical honesty, the courage to face what is. Because today, July 2nd, the mirror is flawless, the veil is tissue, thin, and the self is ready to be seen. The only question is, are you brave enough to look? We have been conditioned to fear judgment. But the energy of this day is not here to judge you. It is here to show you. And once you are shown something, you have a choice: ignore it and continue sleepwalking, or acknowledge it and begin walking with your eyes wide open. The truth is, this day may not feel like a Hollywood blockbuster. It may not be loud, but its effects are profound and lasting, because the rapture doesn't just happen in one moment. It begins in one moment and then becomes a daily choice. The choice to choose awareness over avoidance. July 2nd has revealed something. The next move is yours. Will you cover the truth back up with a blanket of excuses, or will you stay present with the discomfort and let it be your teacher? Remember, exposure is a gift. It is the first step toward genuine freedom, because when nothing is hidden, there is nothing left to control you. This is what today offers. Not an escape but an awakening. Not fear but freedom. Not an ending but a true beginning. So be still, breathe deeply, and let July 2nd be the day you finally met yourself. Today is July 2nd, and today the signal was sent. But the critical question is not whether the signal came. The real question is, were you tuned in to receive it? Because the honest truth is that most people weren't, and most people won't be. Not because the signal is complex or encrypted, but because it is quiet. It doesn't demand your attention, it invites it. It moves with subtlety. It reveals itself only in the space of stillness. But stillness has become a foreign country for most people. On July 2nd, the world did not stop. People woke up, reached for their phones, scrolled through the same feeds, and chased the same distractions. And while their minds were fixated on the external world, the internal world remained unvisited. The greatest tragedy is not that the truth is hidden from us. The tragedy is that we are too distracted to notice it. We want signs, but only the loud kind that flash and thunder. But the real signs, the real shifts, appear silently, in the space of a single conscious breath, in a flicker of pure awareness, in a sudden pocket of silence you didn't plan for. Today, July 2nd, was filled with these moments, but they were missed. The silence wasn't heard because the mind was a shouting match. The shift wasn't felt because the body was busy running from itself. You see, the reason most miss the signs is they are searching in the wrong dimension. They expect change to arrive from the outside in. They're waiting for a voice from the sky, a sudden miracle, a public service announcement. But life and truth do not work that way. Truth doesn't yell. It simply becomes visible when you are ready to see it. And being ready doesn't mean being perfect. It means being still, it means being honest, it means being willing to stop just for 1 second and observe. July 2nd gave everyone that opportunity, but it slipped through the hands of many because we are addicted to motion, to noise, to reaction. We cram every empty moment with something to do, something to watch, something to fix. We cannot tolerate sitting with ourselves, and that is precisely why the most important signs will pass us by. The great shift is not an explosion, it is an exposure. It's the moment when everything non-essential begins to fall away. But if your entire life is built on the non-essential, then when the real is revealed, you will panic, you will resist, you will run, and you will miss it. On this day, July 2nd, a rare portal has opened, a moment of pure truth, a thinning of the veil, a shift in the energetic tide that makes it easier, just for today, to see what is real. But the mind must be calm to perceive it, and that is the crux of the problem. Most people have not trained their minds for calmness, they have not practiced the art of silence, they have not disciplined themselves in presence. So when the signal comes, they don't recognize it. It's like trying to see your reflection in a stormy lake. The image is there, but the surface is too agitated. You need still water to see a clear reflection. You need a still mind to recognize the sacred moment. Today is not the apocalypse, but it is the end of the performance. On July 2nd, what is real is amplified, and what is false becomes a heavy burden to carry. That is why so many feel a spike in anxiety today. That is why a discomfort is rising in millions of hearts. It's not because something is wrong, it's because something fake is dying, and the real is knocking at the door. But here is the key: you must listen, you must pause. Because this signal is not waiting for you to get ready. It has already arrived. Your only job is to slow down enough to receive it. If you missed it this morning, stop now. Breathe, close your eyes. Ask yourself, what have I been running from? What truth am I terrified to see? These questions are the breadcrumbs that lead back to the signal. Because the shift isn't something that takes you out of the world. It's something that takes the world out of you, removing the layers you no longer need. But if you remain in a state of distraction, of constant reaction, then you forfeit this opportunity. You miss the clarity, you miss the shift. And then days and weeks will pass and you will wonder why everything feels slightly off. It's because the signal came and you weren't home. So do not wait for another July 2nd. Do not wait for a louder alarm. Do not assume there will be a second chance. The universe doesn't repeat its most profound messages in the way our minds demand. It speaks once with perfect clarity. The rest is our responsibility. Today is about awareness. It's about showing you what has always been there, hidden behind the curtain of your own business. The signal has come to awaken you, not to entertain you. If you want to see it, you must be present. If you want to receive it, you must be still. Most people miss the signs of their own lives not because they are blind, but because they are busy. Do not be one of them. Use this day. July 2nd is not just a date, it's a doorway. And that doorway will not stay open forever. You still have a moment, but not many. Sit with yourself, listen without agenda, feel what is real. That is where the signal is, that is where the truth is. And once you see it, do not look away. Today is July 2nd, and something of immense importance is happening, something most people will fail to notice. This isn't just a new day. It isn't just a change in the calendar. It's a change in the physics of reality, a change in how life itself responds to you. On the surface, everything might appear normal, but underneath, the very rules have been rewritten. And one of the most critical changes that began today is the speed of karma. In the past, karma had a long runway. You could act out of harm or neglect, and the consequences might not manifest for years. You might never even connect the cause and the effect. But that buffer zone is gone. As of July 2nd, the speed of karma has changed. It is now immediate, almost instantaneous. What you project is what you receive, not in a decade, but in a day, an hour, even a minute. You think a thought, you feel an emotion, you take an action, and the mirror of reality reflects it back to you instantly. This isn't punishment, it is precision. Life is not being cruel, it is being brutally honest. July 2nd ushers in an era of radical clarity, and with that clarity comes the immediate feedback loop of your own energy. If you move through this day simmering with anger, drenched in fear, or clouded by judgment, you will watch it boomerang back to you. Not from some distant cosmic source, but from the people you interact with, from your own physical body, from the immediate disturbance of your inner peace. And if you move through this day with love, with integrity, with clarity, you will feel that shift just as quickly. You will notice how opportunities align, how peace becomes your companion, how the day flows with ease. That is not good fortune. That is not a coincidence. That is karma responding in real time. That is the new energy that began today, July 2nd. This is precisely why self-awareness is no longer a luxury, it is a necessity. Because now every thought, every emotion, every word has an immediate consequence. You are co-creating your reality at an accelerated rate. And if you are unconscious, you will be the primary victim of your own creations. If you are awake, you will be the primary beneficiary. This is the great divide. Before July 2nd, you could get away with hiding your true intentions. You could disguise your motives. You could force a smile. Now, the energy behind the smile is what matters, not the smile itself. People will feel your truth, and so will the universe. You might be sensing this already today. You say something to someone, and their reaction is disproportionately strong. Why? Because the signal you are broadcasting is now stronger. The frequency you emit is being received without delay. This is the new vibration, and it started today, July 2nd. What does this mean for you practically? It means there is no more wiggle room for pretending, no more space for self-deception. You cannot continue planting seeds of discord and expect to harvest a garden of peace. The feedback loop between cause and effect is simply too fast now. You no longer need a spiritual master to show you your reflection. Life itself is holding up the mirror. If you feel friction and tension today, ask yourself, what am I holding on to? What energy am I projecting into the world? Because that is exactly what is returning to you. And if you feel a sense of peace today, acknowledge it, cherish it. You are its creator, and that is a powerful sign of your alignment. July 2nd marks the beginning of a new, deeper level of responsibility. Not just for your actions, but for your inner state. You can no longer afford the indulgence of living unconsciously. You can no longer be careless with your energy. The mirror is too clean now. Every thought creates a ripple. Every emotion has a trajectory. You must become a vigilant guardian of your inner world. But do not be afraid. This acceleration is a gift. It means transformation is faster, healing is faster, growth is faster. If you are committed, if you are awake, this period will feel like a tremendous blessing. What once took years of effort can now be resolved in days. But if you continue to blame, to react, to resist, then yes, life will feel impossibly heavy, because you will be fighting a war with your own reflection. Today, July 2nd, offers a chance to reset, to witness what your energy is actually doing in the world. No more hiding, no more waiting, just look. The results are already in front of you. If you want a different result, you must change the input, purify your intention, slow down your reaction, observe your thoughts. Do not expect the world to change for you. Everyone else is busy facing their own instant karma. Focus on yours. Today is not about control, it is about alignment. If something feels wrong, step back, reflect, and adjust your inner state. Life is not punishing you, it is teaching you in real time. This is the gift of today. This is the wisdom of July 2nd. Karma is no longer a philosophical concept. It is your immediate reality, and it is giving you constant, live feedback on who you are becoming. Use this. Don't fear it. Don't run from it. Align with it. And watch as everything in your life begins to shift. Today is July 2nd, and karma is speaking louder and more clearly than ever before. Are you listening? Today is July 2nd, and on this day, so many are still waiting for a savior, a teacher, a leader, a new political system, a better world handed to them on a platter. But the stark truth is this: no one is coming. No one is going to rescue you from the labyrinth of your own mind. The era of waiting is over. The era of seeking salvation outside yourself is finished. The answer was always, and will always be, inside. And on this day, the energy itself is compelling you to finally look there. The only sustainable path forward now is inward. July 2nd has made this unequivocally clear. The noise of the world will only get louder. The distractions will multiply. The flood of information will become a tsunami. But truth will not be found in adding more. It will only be found in subtracting. Less noise, less talk, less chasing. The only real salvation now is your inner practice. Call it meditation, self-inquiry, breathwork, or silence. The label is irrelevant. What matters is the practice. Daily, consistent, non-negotiable practice. This is no longer a spiritual hobby, it is a matter of survival. Not just physical survival, but mental, emotional, and spiritual survival. If you are not actively cultivating inner stillness in these times, you are being slowly, inexorably pulled off center. July 2nd didn't arrive to frighten you. It arrived to shake you awake to this reality. The external world is in many ways fracturing. Systems are proving to be fragile. People are anxious. Emotions are volatile. But those who are anchored within themselves will not be capsized. That kind of stability doesn't come from the news, from governments, or from gurus. It comes from a source deep inside you. You cannot buy it. You cannot borrow it. You must build it, brick by brick, breath by breath. Look at yourself with unflinching honesty. Today, July 2nd, is a mirror. It is showing you all the places where you are still dependent on the external world to make you feel safe, to make you feel worthy, to make you feel whole. And the more you depend on the outside, the more you will suffer. Because the outside world is, by its very nature, unstable. It always has been. Peace was never designed to be found out there. Peace is an inner decision you must make over and over again. When the world gets loud, you must practice getting quiet. When people around you are reactive, you must practice staying still. When the future seems uncertain, you must practice returning to the certainty of this very moment. This is the inner path, and it is the only path that will lead to sanity moving forward. Not because I said so, but because life itself is demonstrating it to you now with startling clarity. On July 2nd, you are not being punished. You are being reminded. Reminded that the center of your universe must be your own awareness. Not your job, not your phone, not your social image. Your awareness. That calm, silent, watching part of you is your only true anchor. And the stronger your connection to it, the less the storms of the world can pull you away from your true self. People will ask, so what should I do? Where should I go? What problem should I fix? But all of that is secondary. The first and most crucial step is to go within, to sit, to breathe, to observe, and to do it again tomorrow and the day after that. Until it is no longer a chore but your natural way of being. You will not find salvation by overthinking your problems. You will not find clarity by complaining about the state of the world. You will not find answers by running away from yourself. July 2nd is showing you that you must stop. Stop running. Stop talking. Stop reaching outside for the peace that can only ever be cultivated inside. Even as the world grows more chaotic, you can become more calm. That is your superpower. That is your sacred responsibility. But it does not happen by accident. It happens through discipline, through repetition, through the conscious choice to return, again and again, to stillness, especially on the days you don't feel like it. You will have hard days. Days when the mind refuses to settle, when emotions are a raging fire, when the body is restless. But those are the most important days to practice. Because your peace is not proven when everything is easy, it is forged when everything is difficult, and you still choose to return to your center. July 2nd is an invitation, a reminder, a cosmic signal. The world will offer you 1,000 different paths, but only one leads to genuine freedom, the inner path. The path of honesty, of observation, of alignment. And this path is not glamorous. It is not loud. It is profoundly quiet. And for that reason, most will walk right past it. But those who choose to walk it will discover something priceless, a peace that cannot be shaken, a clarity that cannot be confused, and a strength that cannot be taken away. So today, do not ask who is coming to save you. Ask, how deeply am I willing to save myself from my own distractions, my own illusions, my own fears? Everything you need is already within you. But you must become quiet enough to access it. You must become still enough to hear it. And July 2nd is the perfect day to begin. Because today, the energy itself supports this inward shift. The noise of the world is rising, but so is the opportunity to rise above it, from the inside out. So sit, breathe, practice. Let this day be the start of your real journey. Not the path of reaction, but the path of mastery. Not the path of escape, but the path of presence. No one is coming, because no one needs to. You are already here. Today is July 2nd, and this day is not just another box on the calendar, it is a memo, a soft but firm signal that the time for procrastination is over. For years, many have heard the call, wake up, but they hit the snooze button. They were too busy, too distracted, too afraid to truly face themselves. But now, that alarm can no longer be ignored. The door to a new way of being is still open, but it is no longer wide, it is narrow. And it is closing. On July 2nd, the universe is providing a final moment of intense clarity, a chance to pivot, a moment to realign your life with your soul. But this is not an offer you can put on hold. This is not something you can say, I'll get to it tomorrow. Because the energetic tide has already turned. The opportunity is now. And every moment you hesitate makes it harder to catch the current. Many people operate under the illusion that they have infinite time, that they can continue their old habits, their unconscious patterns, and make a change later. But July 2nd has revealed an uncomfortable truth. Later is an illusion. The point of power is now, not tomorrow, not next week. Now, today, when you ignore these subtle signals, you start to feel a weight. You feel an anxiety you can't name, a sense of being restless, confused, disconnected from yourself. This is not a random mood. This is your own guidance system telling you that you are living out of alignment. And on a day with the potent energy of July 2nd, that misalignment becomes painfully obvious. The energy is pulling you toward truth, and if you resist that pull, the resistance itself manifests as pain. The reason the door is closing is not rooted in fear. It's rooted in the physics of truth. Truth is always moving forward. It is a river that never waits. If you don't step into the current now, you will be left on the bank, waiting for the next cycle. And that next cycle may not be as gentle, because the longer you ignore the calling of your own soul, the louder it has to get to capture your attention. And sometimes a louder call manifests as a crisis, a breakdown, a chaotic event designed to finally get you to listen. But July 2nd is not about crisis, it is about opportunity. It is a day drenched in light, but you can only see it if you are willing to face your own shadows. You can only use it if you are willing to look at what is real inside you. Not the version you show to others, not the curated self you post online, not the person you pretend to be, but who you actually are when there is no one left to perform for. If you are feeling resistance today, that is the sign. If you feel emotional, raw, or unusually sensitive, that is the signal. Your system is begging for a change, and you can either listen to its request or ignore it. But the choice you make today has amplified consequences. Small decisions compound into massive shifts. One more step in the direction of avoidance reinforces the habit. One small step in the direction of awareness carves a new path. July 2nd is offering you that new path. A quiet, clear, honest path. It doesn't promise you comfort. It promises you growth. It promises you depth. But you are the one who has to walk it. No one can take a single step for you. This isn't about achieving perfection. It isn't about fixing your entire life by midnight. It is simply about showing up. It is about pausing, reflecting, and declaring to yourself, I have been asleep, but now I choose to be awake. That moment of conscious decision is the doorway. That sliver of awareness is the opening. You still have time, but not a lot. The longer you wait, the more powerfully the world will pull you back into the undertow of distraction, reaction, and unconsciousness. And the unconscious is a dangerous neighborhood now because the energy is too sharp. It no longer supports avoidance. It no longer rewards spiritual laziness. It magnifies what you are, not what you pretend to be. So be honest. Are you listening? Are you present? Or are you still manufacturing excuses? On July 2nd, there is no more time for excuses. There is no more time for pretending you didn't hear the call. The call is here, and it is loud and clear in the silence. It is not coming from outside. It is coming from within, from your body, from your breath, from your intuition, all asking the same question, are you ready? There will be people who scoff at this, who insist that nothing is happening, who label it as superstition or drama. Let them sleep. But you, if you are still with me, something inside you already knows this is real. You have felt the shift, you have sensed the urgency. You have heard the quiet but persistent voice in your heart that says, don't wait. Do not wait for life to get louder, it will. And when it does, it may not be so kind, because when you ignore the gentle knock, life eventually comes back with a battering ram. And if that doesn't work, it kicks the door down. Not to punish you, but to wake you up. You do not have to wait for that. You do not need to learn through pain. You can choose to learn through presence. You can choose reflection. You can choose silence. That is the offer of July 2nd, a peaceful course correction if you are willing to take the helm. So pause right now. Ask yourself, what am I still clinging to that I know I must release? What am I still avoiding that I know I must face? What truth have I buried that is now demanding to be seen? These are not easy questions, but they are the necessary ones. Because once this gateway closes, it becomes harder to find it again. Not impossible, but harder. And you deserve ease, you deserve alignment, you deserve clarity. But you must choose it now. July 2nd is today, and today is the day to come home to yourself. The window is open, but not for long. Step through it, not with fear, but with presence, not with panic, but with purpose. Because the truth is, this is your moment.